We had parties every weekend. That's what my fraternity was known for. And we'd invite a bunch of girls, lay out a bunch of kegs or whatever we were drinking that night, and everyone would just get plastered. And we'd all invite girls, all of us in the fraternity. You know, we'd be on the lookout for the good-looking girls, especially the freshmen, the really young ones. They were the easiest. It's like they didn't know the ropes, kind of, you know, like they were easy prey. And they wouldn't know anything about drinking or how much alcohol they could handle. So, you know, they wouldn't know anything about our techniques.
What were those techniques?
Well, we'd invite them to the party, you know, and make it seem like it was a real honor. Like we didn't just invite any girl, which I guess in a way is true. You know, and then we'd get them drinking right away. We'd have all those kegs, but we always had some kind of punch also, you know, like our own home brew. And we'd make it with a real sweet juice and just pour in all kinds of alcohol. And it was really powerful stuff. The girls wouldn't know it hit them. They'd be guzzling it, you know, because they were freshmen, kind of nervous, and it was just juice anyhow, right? So.
Well, when you say it was just juice, you mean the girls wouldn't know that it was spiked with alcohol?
Well, they knew. I mean, they knew that. At least the smart ones did. It was a party, right? Not some kind of, you know, like social tea. I think they must have known, or most of them did anyway. The ones that didn't had to have been really naive. Well,
did you count on them being naive?
Yeah, the real young ones, the naive ones were the easiest, and they'd be the ones that we'd target.
What do you mean by target?
Well, that's what we'd call them. You know, we'd all be scouting for targets during the week. You know, we'd pick them out, work them over during the week, and then get them all psyched up to come to one of our famous parties. They'd be the ones we'd really work on. What
would happen once they were drunk at the party?
Well, that's when one of us would make our move. You know, by then each one of the girls had been kind of staked out by one of us, meaning one of the guys working on them, getting them drinks, you know, keeping the juices flowing, so to speak. And you kind of had to know your moment, you know, when to make the move. You basically had to have an instinct for it.
Can you describe what happened in the specific occasion you referred to in your questionnaire?
Yeah, sure. I had this girl staked out. I picked her out in one of my classes, you know, I worked on her. She was all prepped. I was watching for her, you know, and the minute she walked into the door of the party, I was on her. And she was really good looking, too. You know, we started drinking together, and I could tell she was nervous. I could tell she was nervous because, you know, she was drinking that stuff so fast.
What was she drinking?
Well, it was some kind of punch we'd made, you know, the usual thing.
Did she know it was spiked with alcohol?
I don't really know, although she must have after a while, you know, because she started to get plastered in just a few minutes. And, you know, so I started making my moves on her. I kind of leaned in close, you know, got my arm around her, and then at the right moment I kissed her, you know, moved in a little closer. You know, like the usual kind of stuff. I'm sure it was no surprise to her. She'd done it 1,000 times before, you know, and after a while I asked her if she wanted to go up to my room, you know, get away from the noise, and she came right away. So actually it wasn't my room. You know, we always had several rooms designated before the party, you know, that were all prepped for this.
Designated rooms?
Yeah, we'd set aside a few rooms, you know, bring the girls up to once they were ready.
What happened when you got to the designated room?
Well, she was really woozy by this time, so I brought up another drink, you know, and sat her down on one of the beds, sat down next to her, and pretty soon I just made my move. I don't remember exactly what I did first. I probably, you know, leaned her down on the bed, started working on her clothes, feeling her up.
How did she respond?
I don't remember. I started working her blouse off, you know, and I think she might have said something. I don't remember. I didn't expect her to get into it right away.
Did she say anything?
Yeah, at some point she started saying things like, you know, I don't want to do this right away or something like that. I just kept working on her clothes, you know, and she started squirming, but that actually helped because her blouse came off easier. And I kind of leaned on her, you know, kept feeling her up, get her more into it. And she tried to push me off, so I pushed her back down.
Were you angry?
No, but, you know, it pissed me off that she played along the whole way and then decided to squirm out of it like that at the end. I mean, she was so plastered, she probably didn't know what was going on anyway. I don't know. Maybe that's why she started pushing on me, but, you know, I just kept leaning on her, pulling off her clothes. And at some point she stopped squirming. I don't know. Maybe she passed out. Her eyes were closed.
What happened?
I fucked her.
Did you have to lean on her, hold her down when you did it?
Yeah, I had my arm across her chest like this, you know. That's how I did it.
Was she squirming?
Yeah, she was squirming, but not as much anymore.
What happened afterwards?
I got dressed and went back to the party.
What did she do?
She left.
You know, there are many things I think we can learn from this very disturbing interview. Most notably are some of Frank's terms, the language he uses. He uses words like prey, targets, staked out. These are all words that serve to dehumanize his victim, and they're the common language amongst criminals. It's also notable that Frank exhibits no empathy for his victim. At a time when she's experiencing extreme terror, his reaction is one of anger, not empathy for her state. He also minimizes his violence and sanitizes it. If you remember in that reenactment, he says that he put his arm across the top of her chest. What he really shows is his arm across the woman's windpipe, which is probably blocking off her breathing and undoubtedly causing her immense terror.